I wanted to be able to understand more of those legalities and legalese, and to be able to really be in those rooms when those decisions are being made.
A Mi'kmaq woman who was once part of the RCMP's watch list is now set to graduate from law school.
I seen like a skateboard video in a magazine, and then I was just hooked. And that was it for me. I knew when I was 10 years old that like this is what I want to do.
And a First Nation man in Yellowknife is sharing his passion for skateboarding. Good evening, I'm Dennis Ward. Welcome to APTN National News. Ontario's Doug Ford government unveiled its 2025 budget on Tuesday. There were a number of items aimed at improving First Nations participation in resource development. In particular, the development of the Ring of Fire, an area in the northern part of the province known for being rich in critical minerals essential to the electric car industry. Ontario's Finance Minister, Peter Bethlen-Valvey, tabled the $232.5 billion budget, which includes $11.9 million for something known as the Matawa Broadband Project. It will upgrade telecommunications for 5 First Nations in the Ring of Fire area. There is a $3 billion Indigenous Opportunities Program that aims to increase participation in electricity, critical minerals, and resource development. The government is also investing $70 million over 4 years in the Indigenous Participation Fund to support Indigenous community participation in regulatory processes in the development of high mineral areas. Another $10 million over 3 years will go toward scholarship opportunities First Nations students interested in pursuing careers in resource development. To the north now, and a woman has been charged after Whitehorse RCMP seized a shipment of drugs and alcohol last week that was headed to a dry community in northern Yukon. The RCMP was contacted by airline Air North about a cargo shipment destined for Old Crow on May 6th. The shipment contained several bottles of liquor and crack cocaine. Old Crow is an isolated fly-in community that's home to the Wundut-Gwitchin First Nation. Liquor is banned in the community. 47-year-old Kashi Marie Williams of Whitehorse is charged with possession for the purpose of trafficking and attempt to send liquor to a place where it may not be lawfully kept. Her first court appearance is July 9th in Whitehorse. The drugs and liquor were confiscated and will be destroyed. This weekend, the inaugural Mass of Pope Leo XIV will take place at the Vatican in Rome. And some Indigenous groups from Canada are calling for the new Pope to return cultural and spiritual artifacts they say belong to them. The Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations has issued a statement to Pope Leo calling for the return of sacred items on display in the Vatican Museum or stored in its archives. Those items include stone pipes, medicine bundles, and ceremonial regalia. Métis National Council President Victoria Pruden is traveling to attend the inaugural Mass. She's urging the Vatican to work with the Métis to identify which items belong to them. Both groups say returning the items is a crucial step towards repairing the harms caused by church-run residential schools. APTN National Chief Cindy Woodhouse-Nepanak is also making the trip to Rome for Pope Leo's inaugural Mass. Alberta's bill lowering the bar for a separation referendum has spurred a First Nation to push ahead with a legal challenge against the Premier's flagship Sovereignty Act. Leading the charge is Onion Lake Cree Nation, which is near the Alberta-Saskatchewan border. The band is advancing litigation against the province's Sovereignty Act, saying it's doing so in response to the Premier's ongoing rhetoric of entertaining a separation vote. The provincial government introduced 11th hour changes to the bill before the sitting ended, declaring no referendum question could threaten existing treaty rights. Still, the province will not provide specifics on how that amendment could be used. Some Indigenous leaders are calling it lip service.
During all my years in leadership, when we negotiate agreements, that clause is always in there. But guess what? They don't honor it. So it doesn't mean nothing to me. These are treaty lands. They are not yours to take, and we're prepared to go to court.
Alberta's Indigenous Relations Minister and Justice Minister were asked for an interview. Both declined. In a statement, the province says it is deeply committed to honoring and respecting treaty rights. First Nations leaders in BC are calling on Premier David Eby to immediately kill 2 pieces of legislation that would fast-track projects in response to U.S. government tariffs, with one leader saying they could take the government to court if it presses ahead. CTV's Rob Buffum has the details.
First Nations, joined by politicians, marched to the BC legislature, raising awareness about violence against women. The show of solidarity comes at the same time Indigenous leaders are voicing anger to the Premier about a lack of consultation on key NDP legislation.
He sets us back in terms of the reconciliation efforts that we've been on for this journey.
The controversy over Bill 15 aimed at expediting projects including schools, hospitals, and private sector ones such as mines, and Bill 14 that expedites energy projects. The bills give government broad powers, including to choose which projects get approved first. Indigenous leaders are upset they weren't consulted on the draft bills, calling them a violation of BC's DRIPA laws on Indigenous rights.
I feel very, very disappointed. The high water mark with NDP was when they passed DRIPA.
During debate on Bill 15, the Minister of Infrastructure admitted the lacking early consultation was a mistake.
We made an error in that, frankly.
Today, facing a barrage of questions, a similar admission, but more begrudgingly.
Our previous assessment on this was incorrect.
She and the Premier later met virtually with approximately 100 First Nations leaders, trying to assuage their concerns unsuccessfully.
Without question, there was bitter disappointment from the chiefs online and with the Premier this afternoon.
The bills have raised the ire of the opposition, Conservatives and Greens, both of whom say they don't support them.
The right thing for this government to do would be to pull these bills, do the consultation, and bring them back next fall for debate.
It's a very broad-based piece of legislation that reserves a whole ton of power and decision-making to Cabinet.
Eby's office says the bills are going ahead, stressing private projects on First Nations land will require Indigenous approval. The First Nations leaders say this isn't the end of it, and legal action and demonstrations will likely be coming.
It's been called the first of its kind partnership in Canada. Defense vessels like Coast Guard ships and police boats could soon see major upgrades following a landmark deal between an Indigenous-owned Chatham company with the presence in Windsor and a longtime shipbuilder in Wheatley. CTV's Sanjay Morrow explains.
The Atmos facility in Chatham is the only one in the world with fully automated equipment that can produce a medical isolation gown every 50 seconds.
It's the largest facility of its kind. It produces over 8.5 million gowns a year.
Now the Indigenous-owned company, which operates a second facility out of Windsor, is turning that innovation toward marine vessels, teaming up with Wheatley-based Hike Metal. The partnership marks a first-of-its-kind agreement in Canada's defense and marine sectors.
I think it's very significant, and I hope that other Indigenous companies follow. One of Atmos's goals is to aid in the whole truth and reconciliation for Indigenous peoples.
Atmos brings its high-tolerance machining and fabrication to the table, with Hike Metal bringing decades of experience building aluminum boats for clients like the Coast Guard, police forces, and ferry systems.
This is going to wake people up, and for both companies, new markets, opportunity for growth, and that can only bring in new jobs.
This partnership could also open the door for ATMIS to secure federal defense contracts and for Indigenous companies to play a bigger role in building the vessels that help keep Canada safe.
As a company, we'd like to set up some manufacturing facilities. We've already got partners ready to go in like the Thunder Bay area, as well as the rest of the country, to spread some of our knowledge and our abilities.
The owner of Hike Metal says the timing could not be better, especially as the country looks to strengthen domestic shipbuilding amid shifting global policies and trade tensions.
I don't think we realized that we actually had that partnership in our own backyard.
And for ATMIS, this is more than a business opportunity. It's a way to honor culture, empower communities, and reshape who gets a seat at the table in Canadian industry.
It's very important for our company, as an Indigenous company, to be utilized in a way that helps out our local communities and supports key projects.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
A Dene man is sharing his passion for skateboarding. That story and more coming up after the break. Welcome back. A Mi'kmaq woman is graduating from law school with an award recognizing her activism. Suzanne Patlas is a rights activist who was once named on the RCMP's watch list, as she was part of the 2013 anti-fracking protests in New Brunswick. Angel Moore reports.
Suzanne Patlas has a long history of activism. She participated in the anti-fracking protest in New Brunswick back in 2013 near the Elsipogtog Mi'kmaq Nation. She was named on an RCMP threat list and was charged 3 times for mischief and obstruction, but she represented herself and the charges were later dropped.
I was in court every other day, so I knew I had the skills to be in a courtroom and to be able to braid law together, but I didn't have the intricate knowledge that you receive from that institution, and I didn't have, I couldn't do it for anybody else.
Patlas is from the Eskazoni First Nation in Unama'ki, Mi'kmaq for Cape Breton. She has advocated for Mi'kmaq rights since 2011 to protect the water there. Patlas also worked with Elder Daniel Paul for the removal of the statue of Edward Cornwallis in Halifax in 2018. Cornwallis was a British military general who issued bounties on the Mi'kmaq in the mid-1700s. Patlas realized a law degree would be useful to protect Mi'kmaq rights in the courtroom.
I wanted to be able to understand more of those legalities and legalese, and to be able to really be in those rooms when those decisions are being made, because I was able to push my way around, but getting this degree will open more doors and more opportunities for me.
Patlas is graduating from Dalhousie Law School later this spring. She is this year's recipient of the Donald Marshall Jr. Memorial Award from the Schulich School of Law. The award is to recognize a law student who raises awareness and works for social justice and criminal reform. It is named after Donald Marshall Jr. In 1982, he was exonerated for a 1971 murder conviction, resulting in the Marshall Inquiry, which found systemic racism led to Marshall's conviction. The inquiry led to changes in Nova Scotia's justice system, such as an increased diversity in public law schools.
So this is just an award that, really brings together all of those things that, that institutions such as the law school recognizes that, and that's really important, and it's really heartwarming to be recognized under his name.
Patlas will article in a law firm next year before taking the bar exam. She hopes to work at an Indigenous law firm and have an office in her community. Angel Moore, APTN National News, Eskazoni First Nation.
Over to the Northwest Territories now, and a First Nations man is taking to social media to find donations for his youth skateboarding project in Yellowknife. He shared his vision for the future of skateboarding in the North with our video journalist, Bruce Delacruz.
Forrest Doctor, who was Yellowknife's Dene, takes care of his new baby boy Raven at his home in the community of Ndilo, just outside of Yellowknife. But when he's not busy being a dad, he likes to wind down by going for a ride. Not on a motorcycle or in a car, but on his board. An avid skater since he was 10 years old, Forrest says he took it up after being influenced by skate culture in the mid-90s.
So that's you? That's me, yeah. I seen like a skateboard video in a magazine, and then I was just hooked. And that was it for me. I knew when I was 10 years old that this is what I want to do, and I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life.
In between work and caring for his family, he still finds time to practice and taught us a few tricks at the local school in Ndilo. In 2021, he channeled his passion for the sport into creating a skateboard drive for youth, where he donates used boards to kids in his community. Forrest wanted to share his passion with the next generation and give them the same outlets that kept him out of trouble when he was their age.
It's kept me out of jail. I could say that 100%, kept me out of trouble, kept me out of jail. The majority of people that I was spending my time with and running around with before I started skating are either in jail or not here anymore, and it's pretty sad. And seeing kids running around, no direction, it's just a little disheartening. I've sourced my own skateboard.
Since starting the drive, Forrest has managed to give away over 35 boards, with donations coming from as far as skate shops in Edmonton, Alberta.
I got some Donations from Rumor Skate Shop down in Edmonton. Shout out to Rumor. And 9 Times Skateboard Shop as well. They've been a very big help.
Having, in his words, bled the town dry of skateboards, he's reaching out online and through the media to find more skateboard donors across the Northwest Territories and the rest of Canada.
I've been paying for a lot of them out of my own pocket, off the classifieds and stuff, and it's just not feasible.
He's also reaching out to promote his inaugural skateboard competition this summer. Named after his son and a discontinued Yellowknife festival from his youth, the Raven Mad Skate competition will allow kids to show off their skills and win prizes, including new boards and t-shirts. With the lack of permanent skateboarding infrastructure in Yellowknife, Forrest wants to find a spot for kids to skateboard during the winter this year and eventually set up a permanent skate park in Ndilo.
What I'm doing here could help even one. Like, I've done what I've set out to do. So I just want to be remembered as just that skateboarder, right? I'm a skateboarder. Remember me as a skateboarder.
Forrest says that he is absolutely stoked to be hosting the Raven Mad Day Skate Comp this summer on July 12th. Although he is still looking for lumber donations in order to build ramps and obstacles for the kids to do tricks on. Anyone that is willing to donate can contact him by email at forrestdoctor19@gmail.com. Bruce De La Cruz, APTN National News, Yellowknife.
Great project you got going on there, Forrest. Would have liked to see Bruce do a kickflip for us, though. Maybe next time. The second largest powwow in North America takes place this weekend in Winnipeg. We'll bring you a preview after the break. Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. Shania Murdoch and her boyfriend Mark were in Selkirk, Manitoba, enjoying a beautiful day, and she shared this photo from her day. Thanks, Shania. think of us this weekend and send us a photo to share at aptn.ca for the chance to be our next photo of the day. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's soggy weather forecast. Starting on the East Coast, 18 with showers in Fredericton, 14 and rain in Halifax, 7 with showers in Kuujjuaq, +2 and cloudy in Nain, 23 in Montreal and Chibougamau, 22 in Val-d'Or, 15 with rain in Sault Ste. Marie, showers and 23 in Ottawa, 17 with rain in Thunder Bay, +4 in Sioux Lookout, 4 in God's Lake, 6 and cloudy in Thompson, cloudy and 8 for Winnipeg and Brandon, 7 in Dauphin, 12 in Regina, 16 in Saskatoon, 13 for Uranium City, 14 in Buffalo Narrows. In northern Alberta, 17 and cloudy in Fort McMurray, 15 in Fort Chipewyan, 17 with showers in Edmonton, cloudy and 18 in Lethbridge, rain and 14 for Vancouver and Victoria, 12 with rain in Prince George, 13 with showers in Smithers, 6 in Old Crow, showers and 14 in Whitehorse, cloudy and 12 in Yellowknife, 16 in Norman Wells, -1 in Sax Harbor, 5 above in Paulatuck, -4 in Chesterfield, 6 below in Whale Cove, -7 with snow in Resolute, 4 below and snow in Joe Haven. The 20th annual Manitowabe Festival kicks off tonight in Winnipeg, and there's lots to look forward to this year as they celebrate the milestone. Sav Jonesa gives us a look into what to expect.
Hey, I'm at the Manitowabe Festival at Assiniboine Downs, just outside of Winnipeg. It's the 20th anniversary for the annual May-long event. People come from all over Turtle Island and beyond to check out the activities. You've got powwows, food trucks, runways, competitions, an Indigenous marketplace, and more. We did receive some much-needed rain today for the wildfires in Manitoba, but that did affect some events. The teepee raising competition was canceled this afternoon, and some outdoor activities are heading inside later today. Here's a list of what you can expect this weekend. The Manitowabe Marketplace is already up and running. You can check out dozens of vendors all weekend long. APTN National News host Creason Ajkate is emceeing the Red Road Carpet from now until 6 p.m. Come show off your best looks to a crowd. Creason is also hosting the Manitowabe kickoff and lighting of the Sacred Fire from 6 to 7. Dignitaries will start off the festival in a good way. A Red Road cultural clothing and wearable art showcase will happen right after. Lots of wonderful models and designers there. Then the Fancy Bustle and Fancy Shawl Showdown will close the night. Saturday and Sunday at 12 p.m. is the Powwow Grand Entry. Intertribals, Tiny Tots, and Two-Spirit Dance Special will start things off with powwows all day long. Make sure to check out the Ignite Our Spirit stage for cultural showcases and competitions like hair braiding, jigging, and powwow pitch. As you can see, there's lots to do this weekend at Manitowabe Festival's 20th anniversary. For APTN National News, I'm Sav Jonesa in Winnipeg. Back to you.
Thanks, Sav. If you get a chance, you don't want to miss the Grand Entry. Nouvelle Nationale airs every Friday at 6:30 Eastern Time. Host Kim Sullivan joins us now with a glimpse at tonight's show.
Hi, Dennis. Gorgeous week weather-wise, which means the art scene is bustling again in Montreal. So we have two cool art stories for you, a celebration and a new urban installation. Both have Indigenous roots. The weather was also perfect for Cree lawyer Paul John Murdoch's motorcycle trip across Canada. We caught up with him. And of course, we tackled the newly elected cabinet and its Indigenous MPs. And that is all at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Thanks, Kim. You can catch her in just a few minutes from now. We're all out of time for your APTN National News for this Friday. For more, you can go to our website, aptnnews.ca. I'm Dennis Ward. Thanks for being with us. We leave you now with the sister song off the new album 282 by Casca musical duo Dene Ziggy Zaggy. Have a great long weekend. Go Leafs!